Slow it down. Slow it down.
Superheroes. Are you doing superheroes? Comic book. Yeah, I'm just doing superheroes tonight. Yeah. Okay. Well, Thor. Answers, please. Shield, hammer, blaspheme of truth.
Okay, yeah, I've got this. Right, so
Is this easy for you?
it is, especially with all the Marvel things going on. I know it's DC, so yeah.
I want to go back to Grenada.
We're now live.
They let America take over, complaining about freedom. Lord, I hear everywhere it's only bomb. In the town, people running helter skelter, looking from this to shelter, Señor, por favor. La negra que tengo en mi corazón, viva, viva, viva la revolución.
Welcome everyone. Welcome.
Hello.
Michelle, Doreen. Welcome.
Hiya.
Hi, Charlene.
Welcome everyone to Marcia M Academy's Black History special, an evening called Ode to Miss Lou. Welcome. We're celebrating and reviving Caribbean culture today, and I'm so excited because it's, you know, we're with poets, with poetry being my favorite subject, poetry being my life. I'm your host today, Charlene Heemans, and I'm a poet, a children's book author, and a new mum. So welcome to everyone. Welcome to everyone here today. I'm so excited about today, and welcome everyone on Facebook. I hope you're all well, and it's nice to see you all again. So we have an eventful evening tonight, and we are going to kick it off with one of our favourite authors, Pauline Hanson, who's going to read us a poem from her book. Welcome, Pauline.
Welcome, and thank you for having me on this evening.
You're welcome. I look forward to. Please.
Okay, I'm a author of The Tapestry of My Life behind me. I'm a poet, a passionate poet. So when I perform my poetry, you all know what I'm like. So this particular one that I'm going to read out today is called Memories. Now, I wrote this poem when it was my mum's 70th birthday. She's now 84, so I'm really, really blessed that we still have her with us. And this is just like I call it a testimonial, but it's a little potted history about it. So here we go. Memories. 10 minutes back on the yard when we first come from. The sun already shine, the night so dark. Still after all, in our fear behind, in our stillness, in the dark, the sun for me will always be the shining. Oh, you do miss me as me pass our by. What go on my side then? And where you are go? Him lift up him right hand and say, me all right, man, me I go down a third tree. Me say, when me did a young girl in a fi me daddy yard, the Lord rest him soul. Me have to listen good. You think me could have ever turn up in a fi me daddy face? First the look, come the box. Me dear ma, me soon find out. You think me could have tell a word of a lie? No, not a word of a lie. And I threw the house. But praise God, me grow in a one-pronged woman. Me come through sickness, you know. And when me happen to fuck up on me first love, when me say the boy look crisp, the hair coolly looking, nice curly and tall. Him look crisp and I ran with the nonsense. Lord, him look good in a the plaid shirt and the long pants in a navy. Him say, him want marry in navy. Come baby picnic one be. Me then I scratch for me head. And I think, no sir, them one go pretty. Me look upon them, poopa to be. Then me take me to eyeball and I look good pon him, mama. You hear what I say now? So when we first come at England, British Airways, if you want to know, because them time we don't know about Branson or Virgin, because Richard back then I saw a prom and back a film van. And me I think, Father Lord today, the time poor, when we look for the people on them skin favor slow. Oh, but me didn't have my sisters dark as Andel and my brothers Eddie Franklin as well. Well, the Savior, praise be the Lord, let me have a good working life. I mean, I have to dwell. Springfield, me didn't enjoy that one. In at the end, I left me Danny love, you remember that well. Me have me picnic them now grow in a big man and woman. One used to drop foot all over the place. She go through hard sickness, you know. Another one claims she shy. Me baby daughter, Lord, that the one of God sent. Even though she make work for me now. And me boys, them good again. The other one, and when him ready for Jack, me well, me dear, me last year for me life. Me can say, praise be to God, me reach 70 years old. And me not take me probably short. And furthermore, me have to give the thanks to the Lord Almighty with the sweet baby Jesus pump me side. And he might keep me safe and well. So Una pray for me, whilst me will pray for Una. And when me have me little talk with baby Lord, no sir, me not carry go bring down. Thank you.
Woo! Wow! Woo, 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 woo.
Thank
I had to listen to my mum really carefully because what we've noticed, my mum came over in the 70s and they started my coming over here is 40s, 50s, 70s. They talk a lot slower. So when you listen to people back home, like, but the people like where I'm from, St. Elizabeth, they talk really quickly. But yeah, I've got to listen to my mum really well to try and get that off. So thank you for listening.
Thank you. Do it better than me. I've been trying to master the Jamaican accent or even the Guyanese accent for years, and I keep being told I sound like Mrs. Patel. So.
Oh, okay.
So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Being a poet myself, I didn't write a poem, but I was doing a project with the young ones, my little ones, and we came across some poetry. We were talking about slavery and such, and I found this poem that just I really enjoyed. It touched me, and I thought I would read it for you today. It's called A Family Escaping from Slavery, by L.L. Now, I did try to research who L.L. was, and LL Cool J popped up. So I'm not sure if it was really him that wrote this, but this is a poem written by L.L. A Family Escaping from Slavery. They're they're fleeing. They're fleeing from bondage away. They're fleeing by night, but they hide through the day. In caverns, dark chambers, or Morris's deep. Away from the sunlight, in secret they sleep. But when eve approaches, they are flying afar. Their guide, ever true, is the bright polar star, which shines sweetly on them from heaven above, inspiring their hopes like the spirit of love. But why, like the guilty, should they shun the light and continue their flight, or the damp gloomy night? Does the labour of slaves these fruitful fields till? Do wrong and oppression your granaries fill? Ah, no. But the influence of slave-holding power, like a dark cloud of vengeance, does over us lower, deadly distills of freedom's best lifeblood. It stagnates and chills. So
Yes.
that's a poem written by not LL Cool J, L.L. I'm going to look into that more. I just thought it brought me somewhere, brought me to the struggle and the things that, you know, we had to go through. There's a film out that talks about the slaves escaping from slavery, and you know, it's not something we ever think about, and especially as the generations grow further and further away from this time, I just wanted them to kind of understand in a way that wasn't too traumatic. And I found this, and I just thought it was touching and wanted to share it, especially being Black history. It is our history, it is our ancestors' history. So I thought it would be a good place to start. I hope you enjoyed it, guys.
You did.
And now,
Thank you.
follow that, we have a live performance by these two beautiful sisters here, Fiona and Dawn, who will be singing for us, Swing Low. Hope you enjoy, guys.
Okay, swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. I looked over Jordan, and what did I see? Coming for to carry me home. A band of angels coming after me, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm down, coming for to carry me home. But still my soul feels heavenly bound, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. The brightest day that I can see, coming for to carry me home. When Jesus washed my sins away, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. to carry me home. If I get there before you do, coming for to carry me home, I'll cut a hole and pull you through. Come, swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. If you get there before I do, coming for to carry me home, tell all my friends I'm coming too, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me. Oh.
Absolutely
Beautiful.
fantastic.
Awesome.
Well done. Thank you so much for
Thank
that.
you. Wow.
I was just looking at the history of the Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, and one interpretation is that it was about the abolition and people being rescued from slavery, hiding under the chariots, I'm guessing, or as I understand. So there was a hidden meaning behind the song, and it's just beautiful, beautifully performed by Dawn and Fiona. So thank you so much. Thank you. And now we have our first poetry reading, by Frank Balaji. Frank Balaji being a certified transformation coach and author, speaker, mental health advocate, and project recovery specialist. He's passionate about harnessing creativity to help professionals who are stuck and unfilled or burnt out to have greater clarity and larger impact. But he will be able to tell us a bit more about him and what he does, and read his poem for us as well. So Frank Balaji, welcome to the spotlight, and look forward to hearing from you.
Hello everyone. It's thanks very much. It's a privilege to be here. It's wonderful meeting people like Pauline, Dr. Sue, Emerson, and you know, Charlene for the first time, and everybody else who's here. Thanks to M&M Publishing for putting this on and inviting me along. I'm a coach, a poet, all sorts of things. And I'm actually hoping to the book behind me there, get that published soon with M&M Publishing. So hopefully that'll be another wonderful thing that could happen. And really, I'm passionate about using the power of poetry to speak to people and to inspire insights so that those insights can lead to transformation. And in my coaching, I actually literally use the poems in coaching people, because I think there's power in poetry to incite people to look at things, either because they sense a resistance to it or resonance to it. Either one of those can bring about insight that can bring about transformation. Now, when I looked at what this event was about, Black History Month, and I thought to myself, am I the right voice to speak into that space, considering I've been accused of being anglicized? I was talking to Dr. Sue, and she was asking me when last I was in Nigeria, which is where my parents come from, and I was saying 1999. You do the maths, it's a long time. But then I began to realize that actually when I first came, I was born in this country, and we went back to Nigeria, and then I came back in 1988. And I remembered the first time someone made me feel like maybe I was different from anybody else around. Funny enough, it wasn't somebody of a Caucasian race. It was somebody from the West Indies who said to me, "African, what are you doing here?" You know, and I thought to myself, isn't that curious that that was the case? And I just began to realize that racism is something we can look at from a macro perspective, but ultimately transformation happens one person at a time. And so I decided, rather than I'll just bring a medley of poems of different lengths that will speak into different aspects of the narrative and my particular perspective on racism. And the first one I want to bring to you is called The Inside Eye. And the idea behind this really is that we see with our eyes, but it's not really our eyes that we're seeing with. The Inside Eye. And this is a quote from a book by, I can't remember now, The Fox, the Mole. Anyway, the quote is, "Isn't it odd? We can only see our outsides, but nearly everything happens on the inside. The seeing part of me sees all there is to see, comes from inside of me, lets me see the outside of me. The mystery of it is this: without it, my eyes can't see." And it's just to call us to the eyes of the mind that we used to see. And there is this thing about we people of color, when we feel that we've been hard done by, and there's people doing things to us, and there's a sense that whoever these people are that consider themselves superior to us, and we sometimes vent our anger at these acts and these biases that we experience. And it's just really trying to call us to say, difference is equidistance. So that if I feel different to someone, they feel different to me. And if I want them to walk towards me, I need to be willing to walk towards them. This piece is called Same Difference. You are as far from me as I am to you. How much that matters very much depends on you and me. For all our differences, this one thing is true. We share the planet, so our survival depends on you and me. In our differences lie the opportunity to embrace and learn from something new. If I choose to walk in your boots and you in mine, we benefit from our different views, a wider horizon from which to see the things we both share. One planet, one humanity. The beauty of seeing that if I find someone different and strange, there's a good chance they find me strange too. This next piece is called Disappointed, and this is a narrative on how I might feel about someone else who doesn't treat me the way I think they should. I judge to be guilty, failing to live up to expectations set out in a covert contract, never signed by the defendant, in terms and conditions set out by the plaintiff, based on standards never spoken, disappointed because they never showed up to an appointment in response to an invitation never issued, unhappy about the conduct of another, failing to meet standards set up by life experiences foreign to the offender, written in invisible thoughts, hatched in the head of the accuser. They just never stood a chance to comply for that which they never did apply. but they felt the full power of a judgment issued by a biased judge and jury, compromised by a different worldview, unknown to the accused as the golden standard. To meet is to approach from both sides. They have their own standards. They have their own expectations. A meeting of minds and an overt contract later, justice may then be served. And I leave you with this final piece, which is to call us all to say that we are one, even though we are different. This is beyond the skin. Take a good look. I mean, a really good look. What do you see? A human just like you, bearing skin with a different hue. You say black. I say brown, actually. You say white. I say pink. We're all people of color, you see. Have a good listen. I mean, a really good listen. Can you hear the silence from stories never told, lest inconvenient truths be exposed? You say superior, I say different. You take the credit, I set the record straight. All our histories deserve to be heard. Have a good think. I mean, a really good think. Is it becoming clear to you how daft this idea of being racist is? Pitching your race against my race? You want to be first. I want equity. You've got the head start. I'm playing catch up. But there only ever has been one human race. Take another look. This time, deeper than my skin. Do you see it now? The red blood that imbued the oceans and mingled with the earth. The same blood that flowed through those that reaped the rewards. No more, no less. Not superior, nor inferior. Just different, but yet the same. I hear you ask from a place of sincerity, what will you have me do? Well, I don't want to be treated differently. Don't want to be your token pawn. I'm not surrounded by eggshells. Feel free to walk normally. Let's converse honestly about what baffles you. Only the conscious get to choose. When your mind gets it, I mean your subconscious mind, would we really need a month of prompting to realize what has always been? We all came from the same stream of consciousness, like the splendor of sunlight manifest in a rainbow. So the splendor of humanity manifests in you and me to make a better, stronger, more beautiful world. Thank you.
Woo, woo, woo.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Powerful, powerful words and poetry. Wow. Fantastic. I'm looking forward to reading. Are these poems that are all in your books?
Not all of these ones are in my book. This the last one was specially written today for this.
Oh, fantastic. Oh. On the day.
Amazing.
Fantastic. Do we have any questions for Frank here? Anyone? Do we have any questions?
This book, Dream, is it going to be a book of poetry or
Yes,
not?
it is.
It is. And will all these poems be in there?
Not all of these ones will be in there.
Okay. I'd like to pre-order anyway.
Fantastic.
We'll have to have a word with Marcia.
Any more questions? Pauline?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Frank,
Yeah.
Frank, that was absolutely amazing. I was just in a trance as he was reading, because what I was visualizing is the dirt on the floor and the spirits of the ancestors. As you were reading in a British voice,
Yeah.
but it was the spirit of the ancestors that were coming through.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing,
Thank you
amazing.
very much.
And I'll be buying your book too when it comes out. Well done.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Frank.
Thank you.
And
for
when
the
are we
opportunity.
looking at publishing? How long have we got to wait for your book?
Well, I was told early December, so we'll see.
Oh, fantastic. So not long, guys, just in time for Christmas. So that is that's brilliant. So what inspires you to write, Frank?
So I see myself as a channel, which is why sometimes things can come on demand or just happen. It's kind of the idea of, if I can say something in a way that makes people think about something differently, then I think my job is done. And I think I have an obligation to write, because if I'm inspired, then the purpose of the inspiration is to give voice to what needs to be said. And recognizing that I have a gift to put things in words in a way that people might get it. It might resonate with some people. And that's what it is. And to be honest, I tend to shy away from things to do with race and all that, because I know people don't like hearing it, but I tend to live in a way where I don't see color per se, even though I see color, if that makes sense. So I know we've got different skins, but I look deeper than the skin. And which is what inspired that piece there, really, is that if we look deeper than the skin, then we'll see more what makes us the same and what makes us different. And the debunking of this story that somehow one race is superior than the other, which is a rather convenient thing to use if you want to mistreat some other race, basically.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for your time today, for your reading. And we are going to follow your poetry off by, I'm going to hope I can say this right, Yoruba worship melody. And that brings us to our second reading today by another of our Marcia M Publishing authors, Emerson McDaniel. Emerson. Hi, Emerson is our author, poet, English teacher. He lives and works in Sheffield and has a BA honours degree in American Studies and Psychology. So, Emerson, would you like to tell us a bit more about yourself and read us your beautiful poetry? You are muted, I believe. There we
Can you
go.
hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, sorry. Okay, first of all, I'd like to say thanks for having me on here. It's really, really good of you to allow me to share, I don't know, this opportunity, I suppose, with people like Frank and Pauline. I know Pauline already. This is the first time I've met Frank today. Really impressed with your words as well. And they are reflective of the way I feel about things as well, and reflective of my writing too. I have a book at the moment, which again is published by Marcia, who is, I think, the most wonderful person on earth, because she's so encouraging and so nurturing. So I'm going to read 3 poems from my book. My book is called My Composite Self, which is available on Amazon for those of you who might want to read my work. So I'm going to read 3 poems, and the first one's called Anger. Okay. This basically reflects my drive, and I think from what Frank was saying as well, it probably reflects my reaction, my feeling towards some of the topic that Frank has touched on. And the first one's anger. So, anger is my closest friend. It sleeps inside me, choking me. Its heat burning me up inside. Tastes like water in a parched tongue, like sugar in a bitter mouth, like love in an orgy. Anger is my closest friend, my volcanic ally. Follow me wherever I go. Makes me feel sorry for some of the things I have done. Makes me feel brave when I'm desperate. Anger is my salvation, my redeemer, my drive, my burden, my closest friend. Okay, that is my first one. My second one, I can just bear with me if I can find it. I'm not at home at the moment, I'm away, so I'm not sort of used to my surroundings. Okay, so just bear with me a moment while I find my next one. Okay. My next one's called The Purity, and this reflects aspects of America. Purity. He loves his genealogy, his wall chart, chronicling his distorted history. He wears his badge, big, proud, loud, tonight, a must. Lips of love on the crucifix, he'll burn on a hill later, when the sun rests, with God on his side, beside the intricate news. His arms glow in red, drip, the children of the winded sky, the people of diamond, ivory, and gold. That's my second one. And my last one is from one of the Shakespeare plays, which I think is relevant to our celebration this month. It's from the play called The Tempest. In a way, I think it reflects a lot of our ancestry, my ancestry, and the things we've gone through, still going through. And even though it was written in the 1600s, I sometimes wonder whether Shakespeare was sort of in tune with maybe some of the things we may be feeling now. Anyway, it's called Caliban. Caliban is one of the characters in The Tempest, and it goes like this. Pray for me, my mother, even though I know there is nothing beyond the sky, only the stars, like those that twinkle in your holy eyes. Light a candle for me, my mother, to guide my path, to give me good grace, to show the essence of my worth. I am their carnivaless, a thing to know when they are drunk. I am no bad thing to behold in the dead of night. Funny, they dance to my music. They know the words to our sweet, sweet songs, but they are ignorant and blind. They don't really see me, only when they are alone. Sing a hymn for me, mother, a song, David, a song to bring their cruel, stubborn walls tumbling to the ground. Sing a song for me, my darling mother, a song of joy, a song of love, like the love I feel for you. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you
Ooh,
so much,
thank you. Ooh.
Emerson.
Are you,
Emerson.
are you still there?
Your smooth poetry. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. And do we
Thank
have
you.
any questions for Emerson?
Come on, ask me a question.
I had a curiosity about the first one,
Anger.
anger, because it kind of seemed to have both sides. It's like it's good, but it's so is that helpful? Is that where that's going, or it's kind of just inescapable?
It's all of those things. Is that it
Okay.
is good, it's bad. It's kind of saying I don't really want to be angry, but it's when I'm angry, it drives me. It makes me overcome all the difficulties that life is throwing at me, that people may be throwing at me. So even though it is destructive, I need it. It's my best friend. It guides me. It helps me along the way. It accompanies me. So yeah. And it's not necessarily personal. It's a voice.
Okay.
And I think we've all been there. When I've listened to Frank before you and his pieces, and now listening to you, Emerson, and it just takes me to that place where, okay, so it has to be an individual thing, as it is.
Yeah.
And maybe Frank one day was where you are now, or feeling what he did, but he has probably risen above it. And so he speaks from a place of non-anger. I tend to, just based on what I've heard through the things that he shared, is that maybe he has gone through this and is kind of on the other side.
Right.
You are right there. And Frank, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just saying, just based on what I heard and how I'm perceiving it. But it's just so interesting to hear the pieces from different perspectives and people in different places. And yet all of us can relate to it in some way. We can relate to what Frank shared. We can relate to what you shared, because, you know, we've lived it. Very interesting, very powerful, and very timely.
Yeah, the thing is as well, a lot of my writing from my book called The Composite Self, which reflects aspects of my life, but sometimes they're not about me. Sometimes they're just narratives, there's voices within me or voices I've heard along the way. So they're not always sort of personal, but they're personal in the sense that I probably hear somebody talk about things and I will write about it. So they don't always reflect where I am in my life. They're just emotions that I sometimes gather and nurture, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I do appreciate it, because I think one of the things I've been exploring is the ability to embrace emotions that we consider negative, and then what message does it have for us, and then how does that help us move, or what does that reveal to us, and what's the message there?
Yeah, and also as well, and I've said this before, you know, I think a lot of the things I write, I feel a lot of things I write reflect not just someone who looks like me and thinks like me, but, you know, different aspects of the world as well, different people in the world. I mean, there are places in the world that would sort of listen to something like we've been speaking about tonight and would sort of identify with it, even though they don't look like we do, or feel like we probably feel about ourselves. And I'd like to think my writing embraces that, you know, sort of different people, you know, sort of different experiences, and so on.
I think you're achieving that. We thank you so much. We thank you all for your poetry and for your time so far. And now we have another live performance by Fiona and Dawn, and they are singing "Oh Cherry, Oh Cherry, Oh Baby."
Join in with us if you know this one.
I'm ready.
Ready? You hear the music? cherry, oh, baby, don't you know I'm in need of thee? If you don't believe it's true, what have you got to do? So long I've been waiting for you to come right in. And now that we are together, please make all my joys come over. Oh, 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 cherry, oh, baby, don't you know I'm in love with you? If you don't believe I do, then why don't you try me? I will never let you down. I will never make you wear no frown. If you say you love me madly, oh baby, I will receive you gladly. Oh, yes, someone singing with us.
Woo!
Oh, cherry, oh, baby, don't you see I'm in love with you? If you don't believe I do, then why don't you try me? I'll never let you down. I will never let you wear no frown. If you say you love me madly, oh baby, I'll take you gladly. Oh, join in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Come on, let's hear you now.
Yeah. Oh, lovely.
Thank you so much.
Talk about memory lane.
I know.
Oh, you like that one?
Oh, yes. Lovely.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. We'll look forward to hearing from you again shortly. And now we have for you a play, Linstead Market by Louise Bennett. So we have that for you coming up now.
Carry me up to the Linstead Market, not a party was down. Carry me up to the Linstead Market, not a party was down. Oh Lord, not a right, what a shouting and night. No, not a right, what a shouting and night. Everybody go feel up, not a party was down. Everybody go feel up, not a party was down. Oh Lord, what a shouting and night. No, not a right, what a shouting and night. Make me calling out the Aki, red and pretty and tan. Living by you on the morning, breakfast, right and happy and fun. Oh Lord, what am I talking about? What am I talking about? Lord, what am I talking about? What am I talking about? All the picnic come ling-a-ling, to where the woman of bring. All the picnic come ling-a-ling, to where the woman of bring. Oh Lord, what am I talking about? What am I talking about? Oh Lord, what am
Sorry, something always go wrong.
Thank you so much for that. And now we have our third and final poetry reading and performance by our Dr. Sue. I'd love Dr. Sue to introduce herself, poet, and let us know a bit about you before you
Oh, wow.
grace us with your wonderful poetry.
Hi, Charlene. Why do this to me? How about allowing my poetry to speak for itself and introduce?
Allow your poetry to speak for itself. I like it.
It is so rich. I did try to understand who I am. It's taken me back 360 degrees, honestly, right back to Brixton, where it all started back in the UK. So it's just wonderful, just feeling the vibe. You know, Fiona, Pauline, Paulette, everybody, Emerson, and Susan Davis, Susan Lisette, by some, back in, I won't say when, no, back in the 80s when I was living in London. I was known as Susan Lisette because that was my stage name. And right now, just listening, just being here, I'm remembering Brixton Village. So you guys are too young. Well, number one, you live outside of London, so you probably wouldn't know that, those of you are here. But there are some people on that I really know who are familiar with that. The Harmony Theatre days, which again is where a lot of what I'm about, the things I started writing there. Black theatre season, fringe theatre, all that I used to do in London. So this is rich and taking me back. And since I'm here, I thought I'd go back and do a few pieces that were very popular. And that song that we just heard, carry me aki goal instead market, not a quati would sell. Carry me aki goal instead market, not a quati would sell. Oh Lord, what a night, not a bite, not a quati would sell. Miss Lou, for those of you who don't know who Miss Lou was, and still is, because our spirit, her presence is still here. Louise Bennett Coverley. Miss Lou is one of Jamaican's icon. She was single-handedly responsible for taking our Jamaican language with patois, which is what I'm going to share with you today, taking it on the world stage. She was a journalist with BBC. She was a journalist, but she was a broadcaster with BBC. And back in the day, when you had the Windrush and the Jamaicans coming in and feeling so out of place, when she did her delivery and did her broadcasting, she would then, after doing the perfect Queen's English, would go into doing the patois or the Jamaica language so that the Jamaicans could feel at home and understand what they were saying. So people started to embrace it more. And when I returned to London, I was born in England, by the way, and my mantra is British by birth, Jamaican by choice, and American by naturalization. So when I returned to London in the early 80s, I found that a lot of my cousins who had never been to Jamaica were talking patois more so than we were. We who grew up in Jamaica, because at that time, it was something that wasn't really acceptable. And yes, you could speak it out on the playfield, but not in the homes and not in schools and stuff. So to come back to London and hear it being spoken so openly and everybody embracing it, it was like, wow. It was like a joy for me. So then I started performing a lot of Miss Lou's poems at events. So I'd go to events and everybody asking, oh, can you do a Miss Lou? Can you do a Miss Lou? So you'd have things like Mary Dryfoot Boy. But what wrong with Mary Dryfoot Boy? Them girl got him for Mac. And when me see him t'other day, the boy gave me a shock. Stuff like that. And you had colonization in reverse. Me say, by the 100, by the 1,000, Jamaica is England born, and she talked a lot about what was happening, but in a satirical way. So I kind of adopted that, and some of my poems started to become that. When I performed, I remember I did my first piece in London, because after performing Miss Lou all the time, the audience started to say, why don't you start writing your own stuff? And why don't you do your own stuff? So with the help of Harmony Theatre, and right now I know we have on here one of my big supporters and one of those persons who pushed me, Michelle. Michelle is one of our audience here. She's online. Michelle Anderson. And Michelle pushed me. Michelle, remember this one? I'm doing this one just for you. And this piece, which was one of the favorites that people kept asking for, was called The English. And understand, Michelle and I were coordinators at Harmony Theatre. We used to do drama workshops, writing, we used to do drumming, we used to do dancing, you name it, we did the gamut of workshops. So we used to have lots of rich conversations. And one of the conversations we used to have was about the English language. So this one's called The English. Now you tell me, why the English backward so? Fitting. Just them name would make you think at least them talk English properly. As far as them concerned, me don't know where me live. For when them ask me where me live and me say, Stratham, bet your life, there's always somebody there to turn up their nose and say, oh, you mean Stratham. These days, me just laugh whenever that man stop feel embarrassed, because it still a puzzle me. Why them have to eat out the E and the TH? I went to the library the other day and I asked for Southwark College prospectus. After a few unsuccessful search, it suddenly occurred to me that could be them stupid pronunciation problem again. So me decide to spell it for them. Southwark, Southwark. Oh, them all holler out. You mean Suddock? Suddock, me say. How no manage arrive at that one? I was in no mood to take them on, so I just get me information and me left. Me at the office the other day, looking up some information for my boss. So me very excited though, and after me get the information, me report to him office saying, did you know, sir, the companies in Berkshire do better business than those in Hampshire? Hear the man. Excuse me? Exactly what are you talking about? So naturally, me repeat myself. Did you know, sir, the companies in Berkshire do better business than those in Hampshire? Hear the man. You mean Berkshire? No, I wasn't going to stand for that one, because I couldn't understand how them get back from Berk. Me asked him to explain it to me, but he was too busy laughing for reply. So me interrupt him again by asking him to spell bark like the dog bark. Him say B-A-R-K. So my next question was, why sometimes them spell bark with an A and sometimes with an E? Does that mean that sometimes dogs do bark? Me say, something wrong. It said that in England they speak the Queen's English. What? She can't spell. Why are the English so difficult? Why can't they simplify their English by spelling their English the way they speak their English? Yes. That, Michelle, was for you back in the day, right? Another one.
Awesome, awesome.
Thank you. Another one that I did back then, and I find that it's really relevant now. And this has a date on it, like 1985. Charlene, you probably wasn't even thought about yet. This is called
2 years later.
This is called Nowadays Hairdressers. But them nowadays hairdressers are good, you know. They're really good for true. Me say, sometimes me swear them next in line to God for all the miracle them do. I see them transform some transformation that is unbelievable to see. Like how them transform Maggie Dryhead sister into one shoulder length blondie. Uno check out the latest hair fashion them and notice how there is always a style to fit your face. Believe me, these miracle workers are out of this world. Cause if them can find style fit square face Sandra and peace head Pam, there should be nothing impossible for them to do. The hairdresser, the miracle worker, call them what you may. But I know them is a woman's best friend day after day after day. Yes, man. These miracle workers are still working miracle today. And this one, I'll give you another one from back then. This is called I. I shared this some time ago with some students here in the States. And when I thought about it, considering it was one written way back in the 80s as well, it goes to show that I haven't changed. I remain me because everything here is still much of relevance. It says, I am Black. I am free. I have pride. I have dignity. I live and I let live. I believe in destiny. I believe in God. I know He is real. I don't talk party politics. I avoid people that do. But I love music. I love to dance. I fight for my challenge. I fight for my chance. I am a woman. I am the best. I am what I am. I don't care about the rest. I live. I love. I laugh. I cry. I am sensuous. I am just I. Thank you. So before I bring it to the floor, so these were all back when I was in London, came out of my journey and my experiences at Harmony Theatre down in Brixton, and my performances there. And as you said, Charlene, say about myself, I then left London in the late 1990s and I came to the States, and I've been here, and I have kept my feet wet in the theater world or in the artist world, but I tend to write a lot. And subsequently, I have right now 3 books of poetry, and I will share from that for you. Again, Miss Lou was my mentor. She was someone I looked up to and love her dearly. And so my first book was dedicated to her. You can see here, it's called Ode to Miss Lou from the Soul of Dr. Sue. And the poem that is called Ode to Miss Lou, it's a cry to us as Jamaicans, us in the diaspora, that we need to keep our culture alive. So, Ode to Miss Lou. Miss Lou gone, but our style still live on. Me nah go make it dead. For with culture and lyrics, we must be fed. Me could never be Miss Lou, She was in a class by herself. But the re-engineered Dr. Sue, I go make sure say our legacy stay upon the shelf. Yes, man. We as Jamaicans, we need to celebrate. We rhythm, we rhyme, we reason. Big up with creativity. Don't hate. This is the time. This is the season. The season to relate and educate with youth, with honoraries, and with friends. Make them know and understand with faith. And make them know say patwa never go end. Look, man, Miss Lou, Mas Ran, Uncle Charlie, and the rest. Spend them days giving up them best. The least that me and you can do is make sure so we see them efforts through. So, Miss Lou gone, but our style still live on. Me now gonna make it dead. For with culture and lyrics, we must be fed. Aye, aye, aye. That was Miss Lou. And yes, as Jamaicans living in the diaspora, I implore, please, let's keep our cultural heritage alive. It's rich. It's who we are, and don't shy away from it. Other cultures don't, embrace it a lot. And I like again today, Marcia, big up to M&M Publishing and Academy for putting this together and showing, we have people here from Africa, we have Guyana, we have Jamaica, and who knows where else. We're also such a mixture, such a melting pot of people, but it's all rich. And big up to Black History Month. There's one here called, another one from Mr. called McPatwarian. Keep it alive, make Patwa rain. Make Patwa rain, make Patwa rain, because I have a dream. I have a dream, brothers and sisters, that one day, all of Jamaican people, brown in and black in, uptown and downtown, from seaside and mountaintop, from country and from town, will all be speaking the same language. The language that help we maintain with pride. The language will make we tell others how to take a ride. Yes, I have a dream. I have a dream, brothers and sisters, that one day Patois will be introduced into schools, not just for mimic and play the fool, but to enhance the creativity and learning, and to keep the culture and legacy turning. So I have a dream. I have a dream, brothers and sisters, that one day Jamaica will be following the ranks of the bilingual stream. After we know Kono Mono, we as Jamaicans, yes, everybody else have two languages. Them have the ones that them talk that everybody understand, and them have the one that them talk where, is we one can get the gist of it. And again, there are some things in our Jamaican language is just so colorful. It's so powerful. There's some things that you cannot explain, or people won't get the essence of it. It won't be effective if you say it to them in English. You just have to go into the patois, to tell somebody to please leave and to tell somebody to go are two completely different something. Okay, so when we tell you to go, you just know so you need to go right away and leave and don't come back. So it's rich, it's colorful, and we keep it there. One of the other books that I did is called I Am Jamaica. And I Am Jamaica, it's written for like the Charlene's of this life. Second and third generation Jamaicans who will get an idea of what we are, what we do. It speaks about our flag, it speaks about our heroes, it speaks about an experience of Easter in Jamaica, of Christmas in Jamaica. What is it like? So you get a feel of it. But this today now is an all-time favorite of people and seems to be becoming an anthem. And it's called I Am Jamaica, which is the title poem of the book. I Am Jamaica. I am Jamaica. I am Jamaica, my theme for the clear. I am Jamaica, shout it out in the ear. I am Jamaica, whether a yard or abroad. I am Jamaica, and they have my umbilical cord. I am Jamaica because I choose to be. I am Jamaica, naturalized and free. I am Jamaica, see me standing tall. I am Jamaica, it take nothing to make me fall. I am Jamaica, wait, you don't hear about me. I am Jamaica, I defy all possibility. I am Jamaica, when me good bad. I am Jamaica, when me bad good. I am Jamaica, me are the black, green and gold. I am Jamaica in body, spirit and soul. Aye. I am Jamaica. Anywhere I am, I carry that with me, right? And as a people, guys, we are young, gifted and black, And that's a fact. And we need to wear that with pride in whatever we do. Wherever we are planted, that's where we should grow. Wow. And whatever your talent is, let's use it. Let's use it for good. Let's use it to encourage others. Let's use it to build each other up and just keep our rich legacy alive. You know, our ancestors weren't able to do it, but they've passed on to us, and they're expecting that we will build on what they have done. And so that's a responsibility we have. Above all else, I ask people to please, please be hip. My final book, and I don't know if you can see it, is called Living a Hip Life. And this is not a book of poetry, but this is a book about a concept. It's a story of my mother, but I used her life to show how we as a people can live a hip life. Hip meaning humble, intentional, and prepared. Mm-hmm. Humble, intentional, and prepared. We have to adapt that. We can do that, become that. As a people, that's what's expected of us. So guess what? Charlene, Fiona, Frank, Pauline, everybody, here we are. Walk good. Walk good, and Miss Lord, I say, and me a good dopey walk, we don't know. That's it. Over to you, Charlene.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
that was fabulous. That brought me right back to listening to my grandmother doing the old I don't know what you call them, rhymes and stuff.
Oh, the nursery rhymes and stuff like that.
Daughters,
and the riddle me this, riddle me that, guess me this, riddle and perhaps not. 3 foot under 3 foot, sit up on 3 foot. Oh, that's...
She used to give us, she was so funny. Yes. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for that. Just bringing it back and enriching me. Stuff I've never heard and never even thought was out there. So thank you. Thank you for bringing that to the world. Thank you for bringing that to us.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Do we have any questions for Dr. Sue?
It's not so much a question, but just to say I really enjoyed the piece on the Englishes. That was hilarious. You're right. The English language is a crazy thing.
It is crazy.
Very context specific and not consistent.
Yes, not consistent at all.
Yeah, but also a narrative really is. I enjoy the energy with which you put that out there without any apology, and I think I could certainly feed off that, because I think that's a powerful thing, really. Yeah. Just to be out there in the integrity of who you are and make that shine through with the energy and that's great. It reminded me actually, because in Nigeria we have something called Pidgin English. Mm-hmm. Which you know, waiting they do you, with you, Gaddy, and things like that. And you're right, there's some things you say there that it doesn't transliterate, just transliterate in the same way. So maybe I need to embrace that a bit more.
Yes, you should. Yes, you should.
Yeah, thank you very much for sharing.
You're welcome. Thank you for that feedback, Frank.
Pauline, you had a question?
Dr. Sue, I sat here and I enjoyed every single moment, because it brought me back to my mum, you know, when she was talking about Miss Lou and Masran, and you know, when he used to come to St. Elizabeth and they used to perform, and you're passionate, and as Frank says, that energy and that exuberance that it just comes out. I couldn't stop myself from smiling. My face is aching, to be honest with you. Have you actually, that I know, I'm not from London, right, as you can tell, I'm from the north, Yorkshire, but I know I'm nowhere near as good as you, you know, the people in the north, they would absolutely enjoy what you've just performed, like my children.
Did you get them to plug in today? Did you get them to get on Facebook? Did you get them to buy and come in and be part of this?
Well, as I said, I don't really want to announce it on Facebook, the reason why I came on today, but yeah, but I would love to. I can't wait to tell my mom about you, because I know that all the people in the north, London, they're getting everything, but in the north, they would sort of like just an evening, and I would just love to perform with you. When it
Okay.
happens.
Get with Marcia. I'm open. Let's make it happen.
Make it happen.
I think I love to the older folks. I like to bring back to them, you know, some of their culture, because I know they enjoy it. And just have an evening of nostalgia with them. That would be good.
Mm.
And I'd love
Oh,
to perform with you
definitely.
as well. So we can talk
Definitely.
about it, definitely.
Yeah, thank you. I loved it. Absolutely loved it in my very British voice.
Let us know when you're in the Midlands as well.
Mm-hmm.
Any more questions for Dr. Sue? I have one. So I'm from London, like yourself. Actually Lewisham, so not too far away from Brixton.
Okay, I used to live in Lewisham too.
Growing up there, the culture was very diverse, and then when I moved up to the West Midlands, it was a little different. It was more steered to Asian culture, and so my mum was actually born in Jamaica.
All right.
And but never spoke Patois. So so if I was to read your book to my children, how do I go about not being offensive to the culture? Like if I'm doing a Jamaican accent and trying, I often just feel like, Charlene, you need to stop, because so how did you
Here's the thing about, number one, the book isn't written, if I wrote the book in Patois, you wouldn't be able to read it, by the way. So it's written in let's call it broken English.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter how it is read. It's the essence of what's coming out. Like Frank said, it's talking about, my matter is that I need to entertain, educate, and elevate. So even though I'm doing something in a satirical manner, there's always something to be learned from my pieces.
Yes, I learned loads.
So it's about that, you know, just getting them to, and don't fake it. If you don't speak that if you don't have that accent, you don't speak that language, just share with them, and then it can be a discussion piece. Especially the book that's called Ode to Miss Lou. It's written in it has 3 different sections, because I did write it with the schools in mind. I wanted it to become part of the curriculum. So the first part is written in the vernacular. So I call those pieces performance pieces. So if someone can, the second part is called My Soul, and it's more introspective. So it's, you know, more, you know, what am I about, moods, feelings, that kind of thing, emotions. And then the third piece is called Let's Talk, and it talks to more provocative pieces. You know, some of Frank's pieces would fit well in there. No, but it has more provocative pieces, because again, I think a lot of times in schools, teachers shy away from some subjects that they probably think is taboo, but that would be so important sometimes for kids to have a discussion about in classes. So those poems would raise, I call them discussion pieces. So, and at the back of the book, there's a glossary. So when you're dealing with your little ones, if there's a word, in the first part of performance pieces that you're not sure about, then you just flick back to the glossary, and it will tell you what that word is, what it means, and how it would be used. So
and
yeah.
where can we find your books, Dr. Sue?
Oh, my books they are on Amazon.
Brilliant.
Amazon.com, but also my website, which is drsueandyou.com. So that's DRSUEAND and the letter U.com. drsueandyou.com.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much. And before I go, any more questions before I leave? Thank you so much again. It was absolutely wonderful, educational, uplifting, and you know, we really appreciate your time.
And thank you. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Being here in the States and being able to contribute.
And
to
it's fantastic. It's so
amazing. In the UK. It's phenomenal, you know.
So you know, we have some things to thank COVID for.
Yes.
Yes. It's been
We have
appreciated.
lots. Believe I have lots to thank COVID for.
So, and to end tonight, amazing array of poetry and performance. We have our last live performance again by Fiona and Dawn, singing the Redemption Song by Bob Marley. And that will end our evening. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for being here and taking the time. I hope you've enjoyed your time with Marcia M Publishing House, and hope to see you at our next event. Thank you so much. Over to you, ladies.
Hi guys. Oh, pirates, yes, they robber, sold I to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit, but my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption songs, redemption songs. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall we kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Woo! Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? All I ever had, redemption songs, redemption songs, redemption songs. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Oh, have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Yes, some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption songs. All I ever had, redemption songs. These songs of freedom, songs of freedom. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Love it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Amazing.
Wonderful.
Wow, wow, wow.
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
You okay, Charlene? Not sure what happened. But yeah, thanks for joining us, everyone. Great performance from everyone tonight. Thank you so much. I'm just gonna play a song now to end the program tonight. I'm not sure what happened to Charlene. Probably some technical difficulty. But yeah, well done to everyone. Can we unmute and just give a clap, a hand to everyone? Just say, woo, well done for tonight. Woo! Yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna play a song to play us out.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Bye. Nice to have met you all.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you
Thank
all.
you.
Bye, all.
Rainbow red, mama red, rainbow red. Rainbow red.